council evaluation.
Well, Your Excellency, how are you? How are you? I'm well, well. Well. Good to see you. Thank you. Yeah, well, I tried it. Good to see you again.
Your Excellency, how are you? Nice to see you.
Good to see you. Chaplain, I've got to sign a salute.
Federal member, thanks for coming out here.
How are you? Craig Kelly, federal member. Represent the Prime Minister.
Yeah, Brian Doyle, Hamilton. We had your name out of sheet the other day. Yes. Looking forward to coming in to visit you at home.
Craig Kelly, how are you?
Thank you. Your Excellency. Well, thank you, sir. I'm trying to track you down, actually. I'm coming to see you. Yes, okay. Yeah, looking forward to it. Thank you.
Your Excellency, Greg Warren.
Greg,
how are you going?
lovely to have you here.
And like
How are you?
Your Excellency.
Andrew McDonald.
Andrew, how are you?
State member from Macquarie Food.
George,
Town Council.
Your Excellency,
One of our sovereign committeemen.
You're taking us for a tour of the Gala.
I certainly am, can't you, sir?
Thank you.
Patrick Grady, he's Vice President of Subject. John Barr, Vice President of Subject.
All the Johns.
Your Excellency.
Yeah, 4 Johns.
4 Johns.
Your Excellency, how are you? Thank you, sir.
John Lee, another John.
John.
Another John.
Mrs. Irving.
Johns in a row.
Yes. Like the Three Stooges.
There's actually 4 because Patrick goes John as well, so but we've changed his name so that we don't get them all mixed up.
Right.
No, she was telling us all about her youth here. So.
How are you, Sarah?
Okay. Firstly, could I just ask everybody who, or anybody who has a phone on, could they put it on silent or turn it off, please? Much appreciated. Well, good evening. Firstly, I'd like to acknowledge the welcome everybody here today, but firstly I'd like to acknowledge the Darawal people, who are the traditional custodians of this land on which we stand upon today. I would also like to pay respect to the elders past and present of the Darawal Nation and extend that respect to other Aboriginal people present. My name's Ray James, I'm the President of the Sub-Branch at Ingleburn, and I welcome everyone here. We are honoured here today to have the following people with us. We have the Governor of New South Wales, His Excellency General the Honourable David Hurley, AC, DSC, retired, and his wife, Mrs Linda Hurley. Keith Payne, VC, OOM, and his wife, Flo. We're also joined here today by Mr Craig Kelly, MP, Federal Member for Hughes, officially representing the Honourable Tony Abbott, MP, Prime Minister of Australia. Representing the Chief of Navy is Captain Nick Matthews, Chief Staff Officer Executive, Fleet Command, Royal Australian Navy. Representing the Chief of Army is Brigadier Gavin Reynolds, Commander 6th Brigade, Australian Army. Mr Don Rowe, OAM, President of the RSL New South Wales. Mr Laurie Ferguson, MP, Federal Member for Werriwa. Mr Brian Doyle, MP, State Member for Campbelltown. Dr Andrew McDonald, State Member for Macquarie Fields. Councillor Analak Chindavong, representing the Mayor of Campbelltown. All other councillors, ladies and gentlemen. We are gathered here today officially to rename this memorial park and unveil memorial plaques in the static display area. The static display area was previously a tennis court, and through the efforts of members of the Ingleburn RSL sub-branch, it was turned into what you see here today. The static display area, which is over behind me here where the tank is, was opened in 2011 by the Honourable Jason Clare MP in his capacity at the time as Minister for Defence Material. Tonight the SDA will be officially renamed the Sister FJC Helane Memorial Park, and we are fortunate to have some of her relatives here with us today for this event. Helen Frances Jane Cynthia Helane was born in Calcutta, British India in 1906. She moved here with her parents to Ingleburn in 1920, where she became one of the locals in the Ingleburn village. Later in life she decided to become a nurse, and in so doing undertook training at the Coast Hospital at Malabar. Prior to her enlistment in the Army, she was part of the staff at Newington Hospital at Auburn. Sister Helen Helane was tragically killed whilst on board the Australian hospital ship Centaur. The Centaur was en route from Sydney to Port Moresby when on the night of the 14th of May 1943, approximately 50 miles northeast of Brisbane, was struck by a torpedo fired from the Japanese submarine 1-177. This cowardly attack took place despite the fact Centaur was fully illuminated, depicting her Red Cross status. Centaur sunk with the loss of 268 souls. Ironically, Sister Helane, who was ill at the time, and she reported for duty. She was sent to the sick bay instead of being returned to her barracks. There will be 4 plaques unveiled this evening, and they are Vietnam War Memorial plaque, which is in this part of the park, and be unveiled by Keith Payne, VC OAM. Afghanistan War plaque will be unveiled by Afghanistan veteran Warrant Officer Class 1 Dave Harvey, the RSM of the School of Military Engineering. Victoria Cross recipient plaque to be unveiled by Victoria Cross recipient Keith Payne, VC OAM. The Sister Helane Memorial Park will be unveiled by the Governor of New South Wales, His Excellency General the Honourable David Hurley, AC, DSC, retired. Today, as you look around this park, you'll see it is no longer a tennis court. It is a memorial to those who served and died for our nation. I wish to thank our sub-branch members who have made this transition possible. We also have had assistance from the Ingleburn RSL Club Limited, and in particular also from the Werriwa Electoral Centenary Committee, who through the Anzac Centenary Grants Program have provided much of the funds for the Memorial Park. At the conclusion of this unveiling service, I welcome all to join us back at Wood Park to watch the Beat the Retreat and the ceremony and fireworks display. First plaque to be unveiled this evening will be the Vietnam War Memorial Park. If I could ask Keith Payne, VC OAM, to come forward. No. Leave that. Could I place that? Do you have the wreath, please? This plaque is in memory of all who served in South Vietnam, and to the memory of those 521 who lost their lives, and to those who have died since as a result of their service to their country. Unveiled today by Warrant Officer First Class Keith Payne, VC OAM, Vietnam veteran, on the 8th of November 2014. We honour and remember their sacrifice. Next plaque, if I could ask for Warrant Officer First Class Dave Harvey. The inscription on this plaque is that this plaque is in memory of all who served in Afghanistan, and to the memory of the 41 who lost their lives, and to those who have died since as a result of their service to their country. Unveiled today by Warrant Officer First Class Dave Harvey, RAE, Afghanistan veteran, on the 8th of November 2014. We honour and remember their sacrifice. Now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's because we've got 4 plaques and they're in 2 parts of the park. I would like you all to adjourn to the park behind me after we move the official party, please. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being patient and moving from one area of the park to the other. We're now standing in the soon-to-be named Sister Helane Memorial Park, the garden, and that's known as the Memorial Garden up the other side of the plaques. Next plaque to unveil is the Victoria Cross Recipient Memorial Plaque. I'd now like to call on Mr. Keith Payne, VC OAM, to come forward. Victoria Cross Memorial Wall plaque is the inscription reads as Victoria Cross Memorial Wall. Victoria Cross was instituted in 1856 as a decoration to recognise gallantry in action of all ranks of the services. It was awarded to Australians under the imperial system of awards, with 96 Australians receiving the award. Victoria Cross was retained as a preeminent gallantry award in the Australian system. Victoria Cross for Australia was approved on the 15th of January 1991 and is awarded to the most conspicuous gallantry or a daring or preeminent act of valour or self-sacrifice or extreme devotion to duty in the face of the enemy. Today is unveiled by Warrant Officer First Class Keith Payne, VC OAM, Vietnam veteran, on the 8th of November 2014 for valour. I'd like to now ask His Excellency the Governor to come forward, and with the other end of the plaque, and we'll unveil the granite plaque with the 100 names of all Australians to date who have been awarded the Victoria Cross. Next part of the service here today is the naming of the Sister Helane Park. I'd like to now call His Excellency the Governor once again, if he could come forward and unveil the plaque. Wheels. Get the photo. The inscription on this plaque reads, Sister Helane FJC Helane, NX 76581, Memorial Park. Lost at sea when the hospital ship Centaur was torpedoed and sunk by the Japanese on the 14th of May 1943, lest we forget. Dedicated by the Governor of New South Wales, His Excellency General, the Honourable David Hurley, ACDSC, retired on the 8th of November 2014. We honour and remember her sacrifice. As you can see, there's a picture from our showroom down in the club of Sister Helane, and a small inscription there. Again, I'd just like to thank His Excellency for naming the park here, and I'd like to show our appreciation, please. I'd like to now call Captain Jeffrey Duval, Army Chaplain at SME, for a dedication prayer for all the memorials we've just unveiled.
Let us pray. For as much as it pleased Almighty God to put into the hearts of His servants to erect this memorial, let us now fulfil the godly purpose for which we are assembled, the dedicating of it to the glory of God, and in grateful memory of all who gave their lives that we might live. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain. Could you all please be up? Could you all please stand for the ode? They went with songs to the battle. They were strong, straight of limb, true of eye, steady and aglow. They were staunch to the end, against odds uncounted. They fell with their faces to the foe. They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them. Could you all face the west, please? Bugler. Could you all face the east, please? Thank you. Please be seated. That, ladies and gentlemen, concludes the service here this evening at Wood Park, commencing at Commencing at 18:30 will be a beat the retreat, which will be provided by the guard from SME, the Army Band. On completion of the beat the retreat, there will be fireworks. Just prior to the beat the retreat, His Excellency the Governor will be officially welcomed at the park. So if you make your way back over to Wood Park and be available over there by 1800 hours or 6 p.m, that would be much appreciated. Just prior going, I'd like to make a couple of presentations. First off, to the Governor for our appreciation, or show our appreciation for His Excellency to open and name our sister Helane Park.
Keith Payne, VCOAM. You took it. Brigadier Reynolds. Captain Matthews. Mr. Craig Kelly MP representing the Prime Minister. Mr. Laurie Ferguson MP, member for Werriwa. And finally, Mr. Brian Doyle, member for Campbelltown.
And the member for Macfields, we have got one for you, but we'll see where you are, Andrew. We'll get it to you. Two more presentations. One for the Governor's wife, Mrs. Hurley. Sorry about the packaging, that's why they come. and one for Flo Payne. Just a bit of what it's about is that it's the ode, it's a poppy. Sorry, it's a poppy with the ode encrypted on the inside of the poppy. Kofi just asked the official party now will depart, firstly by His Excellency the Governor, and he's going to go on a tour of the park with Mr. Tishofa. Followed by Mr. Payne and Mrs. Payne. And just while that's happening, ladies and gentlemen, remember that the Beat the Retreat, or the official welcome of the Governor at from 18:30 over in Wood Park, the Beat the Retreat, the fireworks, and then the that's the end of the day. Thank you very much for attending.
Flag party.
Flag party, dismount. Just while that's happening, ladies and gentlemen, remember that the official welcome of the Governor come across the land from 18:30 over Wood Park. Beat the Retreat, the fireworks.
Given to the sub-branch 30s.
Thank you very much. Flag party, dismount.
These footstones here, exactly how they were okay, same with the obelisk. The obelisk is made out of bricks retrieved from a church down the road. Where it was under the office. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I don't know if you remember when it was under here and we've got...
So is a metal container?
It is now. It's all purposely built in there, whereas before it was just stone boxes and
That'll be enough there.
just about all the with the columbarium still, it's for every service person, whether male or female, members of the club, also being allowed to have the rashes put in or a plaque. Now, if they have a spouse and the spouse wishes to be placed here as well, they can. But if the spouse of the place is before the member, that won't do it. That's all the stuff about it. It's the same as I've got mine down here. The other one down the bottom here. He was in
So how did you draw the straw to be interviewed by me and you didn't get to fly? You were just bad luck for you today?
Not really. My job's Roulettes 7 is to do the commentary for a display such as today. So I get to come out and get on the ground, have a chat to the people here and meet some of the kids and motivate them in the same way that I was motivated, and hopefully inspire them to take this up as a career whilst they watch the guys overhead. But myself, I'm around about 2 to 3 years behind the guys in terms of experience, as the guys in the air at the moment are all qualified flying instructors, and I'm proceeding on to that next year. So I've got a little way to go. Hopefully come back later on and join the team in the air. Absolutely, the guys having a ball, not to mention they are working very hard throughout a display such as this. You see the aircraft now at low level like this, precision's what it's all about. It's close formation flying as well, so we're talking 2 to 3 metres between the wingtips of each aircraft, and so there's no autopilots, there's no flight directors, there's nothing that's going to do it for you. It's all up to the guys in the aircraft to actually, hands and feet, manually put the aircraft in the right position and keep it there.
So what are you doing when you're flying in formation? Is everyone following the leader or following left or right?
Absolutely, everyone's following the leader in one sense or another. Be it the guys on the outside will not take as many cues from the leader as the guys right next to him. They'll keep an eye on the leader, but they'll also reference the other aircraft. So they're back and forward to who they're looking at constantly with a quick scan rate to make sure that they've got the separation that they need, and also they're on the correct line so it looks as good as it does for the crowd.
So that smoke that's coming out the back now, is that special effects smoke or is that necessary?
It certainly is special effects smoke. The PC-9s at RAF Base ESAL are the only aircraft in the fleet with it. And it's a smoke modification in which we put a tank in the back of the aircraft and it pumps a mixture of mineral oil and diesel up to the right-hand exhaust stub, and he sprayed out some very fine nozzles, and the heat of the exhaust evaporates that as it comes out and creates a white smoke as you see today. So nothing dangerous, you don't need to worry, we're not crop dusting or anything like that today. It's just for effect for the crowd. So this is leader's benefit. So the formation that the guys have come across today, right now in, is called leader's benefit. The purpose of this display is the guys are all flying line abreast from each other, being the hardest formation position to fly, so that's right next to each other without being swept at all. And they're taking their cues also from roulette leader out the front. So being leader's benefit, it's a team in a line behind him, providing him the benefit of the display for his position out in front.
They're just hiding behind the tree at the moment, about to surprise the people in the rotary tent.
As you see the guys, if you look overhead the Ingleburn RSL there, you'll see the guys coming back in. They've changed formations again, so they've moved from leader's benefit to what's known as six-pack. So Roulette 1, Roulette leader's in the front and centre at the moment, with all the other aircraft flying cues off him, flying line abreast and line astern respectively in their individual positions. As you see them pull up, they'll switch whilst in the loop from six-pack to twin. So you'll see the 2 aircraft on either side drop back and fly an echelon position, and Roulette 4, who's leading the rear 3, he drops back again to make a second 3-ship of aircraft, essentially. So the aircraft that the guys are flying is a Pilatus PC-9. It's a Swiss design but Australian built aircraft. It's used not only at Central Flying School for the Roulettes, but also for instructor training. So guys learning how to be an instructor and teach the next generation of pilots will learn how to fly the PC-9 before proceeding across to Perth to teach the students. And for anybody that's got an Army background, you'll be happy to know Ross Laves actually started as an Army pilot. He flew Black Hawks before seeing the light and coming across to the Air Force to join the Roulettes.
Same as Mark Binsky.
Well, Army, Navy, yes.
You probably don't call him Mark. Well, you do.
I don't. I certainly don't.
What's your favourite movie there, Clay?
We all know the expected outcome of this question, but I've got to say Top Gun, don't I? But then it would actually be giving the fast jet guys a bit more credibility.
Are they coming back, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. They've just set back up. I was expecting a solo off that. Oh, they're coming back in Delta formation. So the guys are just setting up now in what's known as Delta formation. It's one of the hardest formations to fly for the guys. This being that it's line abreast formation for the front row and second row, and they're also flying cues off the roulette leader in the front. So it's kind of a double-edged sword for them, a lot of hard work for them, but it's why they get paid the big bucks.
So with these roulettes, the pilots, do they actually fly any fighter aircraft?
The roulettes themselves can be drawn from any aircraft in the Air Force. There's no actual requirement to fly fighters or transport or anything like that. The only requirement is to be an instructor, then post back to Central Flying School to then take the tertiary level of instructing to teach people how to be instructors. So that's the requirement to join the roulettes. And at the moment we've got a mixed background, a lot of transport, a lot of maritime. Ross Laves with a background of the Black Hawks, and actually Squadron Leader Camfield was a Navy man himself. Started off in the Navy flying HS 748, it's a Skrull. He did fly the Super Sea Sprite and then transferred to the Air Force shortly after that. So see the guys, they change formation as they proceed off crowd, and they've returned back to wedge formation for another flight past 200 feet. Just giving the crowd a look at the aircraft as they come through what's known as a whiffle roll. So essentially showing off both sides of the aircraft as they come through to the position.
How many hours would these planes do a week?
The planes themselves vary. I couldn't actually give you a number on that. As a team, we'll fly up to 3 times a day conducting the display in the workup period. So a lot of hard work to get the display right and get it signed off to be able to display it in front of a crowd. Following that, as the season progresses, the repeated displays on the weekends will take into account their currency, and the guys will just maintain their positions from there. So the team rotations will happen every around 6 months, which is between seasons. Allows the guys to change positions if they'd like to, and also to get guys in and transfer them back out of the team as their time expires. That way, maintaining some corporate knowledge rather than having a complete team changeover in one hit. So you've seen the guys now, they've changed into Vulcan formation, which looks like an elongated arrowhead, and the guys are doing what's known as a Vulcan barrel roll. So quite a spectacular manoeuvre for the guys, and definitely a hard manoeuvre for them to fly in the air. So definitely working hard, especially on a day like today. It's beautiful weather down here, but in the aircraft with a helmet, a G-suit, a Sekimar, and the G-forces, definitely sweating and working hard.
What is the most fun? What move is the most fun?
Well, it depends who you talk to in the team. If you talk to Roscoe, he'd say the corkscrew. If you talk to the synchro pair, they'd say the mirror. But there's plenty of great aspects to it. At the end of the day, we're a fantastic team. We get to do a lot of great things. Today we actually came in via Bathurst, going low level through the Blue Mountains. So not something you get to do every day of the week, but definitely a perk of the job and flying such a manoeuvrable aircraft. Absolutely, the guys are pulling up again in wedge formation. Pulling up over the top for a wedge barrel roll. They'll set up again. If you look out overhead the RSL, you might actually get to see them change formations. This is where the guys actually move from the positions they're in into the next position. So definitely not any mean feat, especially while they're doing it this low to the ground.
So they're changing right now, right?
Absolutely. You have a look out now, you'll be able to see them moving around. They should be moving to Delta. They should be moving to Delta, unless he's changed it.
So what about you, Clay? What's your goal? What would you like to fly next?
Well, I'll proceed across to Perth as an instructor. So if anyone's proceeding through the path of joining the Air Force as a pilot, then hopefully one day I might get to teach them over in Perth at Rough Base Piers. From there, come back, who knows, maybe proceed on to the Roulettes, proceed on to the Hercs or the C-17s. Anyone's guess in this day and age, and the emerging platforms that we've got out, who knows where we might go. So right here is called the Delta Loop. So again, the reverse wedge formation led by Roulette leader in the front and centre. And pulling up over the top 4G as they pull into this manoeuvre, so 4 times your body weight. And they'll set up now for the Roulette bomb burst. Nicely done, guys. We can't complain with that, can we?
How good's that? The Roulette Bombers.
So if you see the guys now down to the south, Roulette leaders flying straight and level, you see the guys all number off in the air and race down the hill to rejoin on him. So a bit of a dynamic situation they've got going now, but a bit of fun too, and looks good if you see it happening. That's it for the display as well. Yep.
So that's it for the display, ladies and gentlemen. They can't hear us, but let's give them a round of applause. Isn't that fantastic? That's the RAF Roulettes.
So Clay, welcome to Ingleburn. What do you think of Ingleburn? You've been here about 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, had a look around. It looks like a great spot, so fantastic to be here today.
Tell us a little bit about today. How long ago did you leave sail in Victoria?
So I left this sail at about 10:30 this morning, took off, flew via Richmond, refueled there, grabbed some lunch, turned the aircraft round and took off from Richmond. It's about a 5-minute transit down to Ingleburn here to conduct the display that we just saw.
Okay, and you're not flying today?
No, I'm not. My job's to do the commentary for the team, so it's my position this year. I'm actually finishing up. This is the last display that I'll commentate, and then proceed on from here across actually to Perth. So.
You enjoy the Air Force?
Absolutely. Great employer to work for, if you can call it that. Fantastic team, Air Force wide, roulette wise. We've got a great bunch of blokes, and we flying around the country in a Red Rocket or a sports car, if you can describe it like that, is just a dream come true.
And here at Ingleburn, what did we see today? Or what are we seeing today?
We just saw the guys conduct the special venue show. So 6 aircraft make up the Roulettes flying display team. They've conducted aerobatics and fly past down to 200 feet above the crowd, so 60 metres. Speeds up to 550 kilometres an hour. So anything the guys can do to just turn it up for the crowd and have a good time.
So say the planes are here on a full tank when they arrive at Ingleburn, how much fuel do they use in that 15 minutes?
So in the display we usually allow for about 250 pounds of fuel. Obviously we overestimate that, takes into account a warm-up and a practice that we'll do off display, and then the guys have plenty of fuel to make it back to Richmond.
Clay, the guys who are flying the planes today, the Roulettes, what experience do these guys have?
It's a myriad experience throughout the team, so different backgrounds in all the positions. Roulette leaders got a Navy background before transferring to the Air Force. We've got maritime backgrounds, airlift group or air mobility group as it is now backgrounds, and actually an Army background in it as well with Roulette 4.
And what is your favourite movie?
It's a loaded question. I'd have to say Top Gun, don't I?
Top Gun. So Jack, did you enjoy the planes today?
Yes.
Now what do you think about Clay? Would you like to be a pilot like him?
Yeah.
What do you reckon would be cool about being a pilot?
You get to fly planes.
And you could go fast. That's the best part, isn't it? Any questions you'd like to ask Clay?
When did you start to want to be a pilot?
I started wanting to be a pilot when I was about your age. I saw some guys do displays such as this, learning about the aircraft and what you can do. Took it up from then and proceeded on. After high school, followed it up, and I was lucky enough to proceed through the training and graduate as a pilot from 2FTS and get to where I am today to be a part of the Roulette team.
So it's a bit of study involved?
Absolutely, there's plenty of study. You don't have to be epically smart or the smartest in your class. You just have to be 100% motivated to do it and be willing to put in the hard work and the hard yards required to graduate pilot's course, and then proceed on from that and your operational conversions and tours from there. So definitely hard work and high levels of motivation.
Do you reckon you could do the hard work?
Yeah.
You got the motivation? You just need the uniform and you're on your way.
It's definitely a great job to get a part of, and as you saw today, the guys flying low and flying fast is what it's all about, so, and having fun.
Thanks, mate. You're enjoying today, aren't you?
Yeah.
Cheers, mate. Hey, Jordan, what did you think about the Roulettes flying today?
I reckon they did a really good job, and they were really interesting, and they didn't crash, which was surprising because it looked like they were going to crash or clip each other's wings.
What would you like to ask Clay?
How did you become a roulette pilot?
So the main thing is to join the Air Force or the Defence Force as a pilot. You can transfer to the Air Force later on if you like, if the roulettes is something you want to get into. But from the age that you are now, just work hard at school, talk to your defence recruiter in your local area, get down, do the testing, and then proceed on. You'll do officer training, you do basic flying training in Tamworth, and number 2 flying training school at Pearce, where you graduate with your wings, which is what it's all about. And from there, essentially, you're essentially a pilot from that point on. So You can then proceed out, do an operational posting, and then put your hand up if it's somewhere where you want to end up, and come back and join the Roulettes and get a blue suit like this and come out and do a display like you saw today.
How old are you, Jordan?
12.
Could you go and talk to defence recruiting at 12 years old?
You can. They can give you some advice on what subjects to pick up. It's more important around about year 10, 11 and 12. So at the moment, go to school, have some fun, work hard, and really have a talk to them when you get around the year 9, year 10 mark.
Okay.
So to make sure that you're on the right track, and you're not taking subjects that are going to disadvantage you or miss out on what you need.
Okay.
Good on you, Jordan. Thanks a lot, mate.
It's okay.
And thanks very much, Clay.
No worries, thank
you.
You just hang on to, because there's a big drop down the other end. 1, 2, 3, hey!
That's pretty stretchy. Going here.
Yeah, I've been out of the army back in 2004. Oh, fantastic. I was a grunt the first time around. Oh, okay. Now you're doing the good stuff. So I'll do something better. Yeah. Yeah.
The RSM will now give the orders for the guard and band to move onto the parade. Moving on to the dais now is Captain Nick Matthews, Chief Staff Officer, Executive to Fleet Commander, representing the Chief Commander. Brigadier Gavin Reynolds, Commander 6th Brigade, representing the Chief of Army.
Good General Salute! Present! Up! Good! Attention! Good stand at 8! Good stand at 8!
Captain Gray will now prepare the guard for the marching on of the Royal Australian Engineers Corps banner.
Good attention! Good attention! March on the banner!
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the march on of the Royal Australian Engineers Corps banner. Members in uniform do not salute at any stage during this procedure, regardless of whether or not the banner passes immediately to your front. Members in uniform should only salute when the banner is in position. The banner ensign orders present arms and the band plays point of war.
Final party, all the center, work!
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please be seated. We now await the arrival of His Excellency, the Governor of New South Wales, General David Hurley, ACDSC, and Mrs. Hurley. Mr. Ray James, President, Ingleburn RSL Sub-Branch, will welcome His Excellency and show him to the dais, where he will be accorded a vice-regal salute. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. It is normal that an inspection of guards, such as those on parade this evening, is carried out by the duty officer of the day. Tonight, the OC will move forward and invite His Excellency to inspect the guard and band. At the completion of the inspection, His Excellency will address the parade.
Your Excellency, a trade training trip on parade inspection.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank Mr Ray James, President of the Ingleburn RSL sub-branch, and Mrs Pauline James for their warm welcome here today. I'd like to acknowledge Mr Craig Kelly, the member for Hughes, tonight representing the Prime Minister, Brigadier Gavin Reynolds representing the Chief of Army, Captain Nick Matthews representing Chief of Navy, Mr Don Rowe, New South Wales President of the RSL of Australia, Federal and State Members of Parliament, Councillor Analuk Chindavan, representing the Mayor of the City of Campbelltown, very importantly Mr Keith Payne, VC, OAM, and distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to pay my respects to the traditional owners of the land on which we gather, the Dharawal people, and I acknowledge their living culture and affirming my respect for their ancestors and descendants. It's indeed a great honour for Linda and I to be here with you tonight to address you at this Ingleburn RSL Military Gala Day, commemorating, as it does, the departure of the 1st Australian Imperial Force and the New Zealand Expeditionary Force from Albany on 1st of November 1914. and I do follow in the footsteps of a former governor. I'm told the name Ingleburn may have been coined by Governor Lachlan Macquarie. This comes from the word ing, meaning bend, and burn, meaning stream in the Gaelic tongue. Macquarie was born and bred in the Scottish Highlands, and from 1812 to 22 made several visits to both the Georges River and Bunbury Curran Creek area of Ingleburn. I also believe that Ingleburn was originally known as Soldiers' Flat. This was because 4 old soldiers of the New South Wales Corps were allowed to take up farm grants here in 1809. So as the Governor of New South Wales, a former soldier, former Chief of the Defence Force, I'm honoured to speak at Ingleburn today. And indeed it's the place I did my promotion exams from Lieutenant to Captain. I must have passed, otherwise I wouldn't have got the gig today. 100 years ago, Australia's young men and women set sail from Albany in Western Australia towards a conflict from which tens of thousands would not return. The convoy of 38 ships carrying the first AIF and the Kiwis included the cruisers HMAS Melbourne and Sydney, as well as the Royal Navy's HMS Minotaur. It was joined at sea 2 days later by ships carrying troops from Western Australia and South Australia. For many of those troops in 1914, the Port of Albany provided the last glimpse of their homeland. They had no real idea of where they were headed. Alexandria was just a name, and the words Gallipoli and the Somme were not etched in any memories. Many of those who departed on those troop ships will go on to fight at Gallipoli, where the Anzac legend was born. The reality of what they were facing hit home early, especially for the crew of HMAS Sydney, only 1 week after leaving the port. On the 9th of November, 100 years ago tomorrow, the Sydney was diverted to fight a German cruiser, the SMS Emden, at the Cocos-Keeling Islands. This was our first sea battle of World War I, our first naval victory, but with loss of life on both sides. As they steamed out of King George Sound, looking back at the last sight of the land they loved, our volunteer forces could not have known the horrors that awaited them. The Advertiser reported the sight of the ships leaving the port this way: in no other port of the Commonwealth were the ships seen together in the full magnificence of their numerical strength. What is magnificent is the fact that 30,000 Australians and New Zealanders signed up for service so soon after the declaration of war on the 4th of August. Within 3 months, Australia was able to amass a force of thousands of volunteers to serve their nation and the Allied cause. This was an outstanding commitment to service. And it's the same sort of commitment that took part here at Ingleburn when a local girl, Helen Frances Jane Cynthia Haltane, a nursing sister, volunteered for service and went aboard the hospital ship MV Centaur in World War II. The ship was torpedoed and sunk by the Japanese on 14th of May 1943 with the loss of 268 lives. It was a great honour for me today to unveil a plaque to dedicate a memorial park to Sister Helen Haltane today. As we look to the future, I'm encouraged that so many people, 60,000, last week on the 1st of November, lined the streets of Albany on the centenary of the departure of the first convoy of troops. They came to recognise the bravery and sacrifice of men and women 100 years ago in service of their country. Today, there are many ways to contribute to our state, our nation and to our people. Whether it's through the activities of local groups, Rotary or Lions clubs or RSL sub-branches. We need to recognise the efforts of all those who volunteer to work for our communities in whatever way possible. Again, Linda and I are honoured to be joining you here today. I commend the troops and the airmen and women on parade today for their turnout, and we look forward to an enjoyable parade this evening. Thank you very much.
Stop! Bad 8 10!
Ladies and gentlemen, the firing of volleys has been completed. The piper will now play the land.
Officers, take post.
Ladies and gentlemen, parade commander will now order the bugle to sound stand fast. This will be followed in a moment when the guards will present arms, retreat and be played and the national flag lowered. During the sounding of retreat and the lowering of the national flag, members in uniform are to salute. Would you please be standing, ladies and gentlemen?
Bugler, sound stand first. Bugler, sound continue. Good, attention. Guard stage at 8.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please be seated. His Excellency will bid farewell and then return to his seat to watch the fireworks.
Good! I turn! Turn! And I turn! Good! Vice Regal salute! Present! Up! Good! I turn! Turn!
Thank you very much. Good effort tonight.
Good! Stand at! Hey! At! Hey!
The Guard will now farewell Captain Nick Matthews and Brigadier Gala Reynolds.
Good! I turn! Turn! And I turn! Turn! Good! General salute! Present! Up! Good! I turn! Turn! Good! Stand at! Hey! And at! Hey!
Ladies and gentlemen, please show your thanks to Mr. Keith Payne, VCOM, and his wife Florence for attending the program. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the marching off of the Royal Australian Engineers Corps banner. Members in uniform should only salute when point of war is played by the band.
Good! I turn! Turn!
And I turn! Turn!
March off the banner!
Up!
Good! General salute! Present! Up!
Banner escort, I turn! And banner party for the center! Work!
Good! I turn! Turn!
Ladies and gentlemen, the Guard will now depart. Ranger, School of Military Engineering, Warrant Officer, Class 1 Baggett Home. Now depart the program. Please be seated, ladies and gentlemen. Fireworks will commence very shortly.